It's a bit steep, isn't it?
Steep? It's effing vertical.
Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying-Model-Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest action figure video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk toys. Let's talk about the nerdy news that you need to know about. It's the only news that matters. It's good news. And on today's show, Keanu Reeves is spellbound, Logan-Paul will make it rain, and Superman comes out in public. We got a whole bunch of stories to cover today, so let's not stand on ceremony. Mr. Wayne, let's talk about him. Time now for a little bit of extra news and some more controversy about the upcoming Captain America New World Order movie. Yes, there's a little bit of hubbub about the introduction of the character Sabra into the movie, who in the comics is an Israeli special agent. And you don't need me to tell you that politically, globally, Israel, Palestine, it's a whole thing. I'm not about to get into it here because I would only embarrass myself if I tried to talk politics. But it's enough that Marvel do feel the need to address how they are going to approach this character and how they might change her origin and story details to kind of make it fit and be more palatable with the rest of the MCU. Richard Fink at Screen Rant writes, created by Bill Mantlo and artist Sal Buscema, Sabra first debuted in The Incredible Hulk. In the character's first appearance, she was working with Mossad, the Israeli Secret Service, and came into conflict with the Hulk himself, thinking he was working with a terrorist organization. Since the announcement of the character, there have been concerns among fans for a variety of reasons. Some are worried about the presence of an Israeli-themed hero, given the historical and ongoing conflict between Israel and Palestine, while others are concerned about putting a Jewish-themed hero in a movie subtitled New World Order, which has connotations of an anti-Semitic conspiracy, and now the studio behind the project is speaking in defense of the plan. So Marvel put out a statement saying, while our characters and stories are inspired by the comics, they are always freshly imagined for the screen and today's audience, and the filmmakers are taking a new approach with the character Sabra, who was first introduced in the comics over 40 years ago. This does make sense, and it falls in line with what the MCU have done before, tweaking different characters, making them more palatable for modern tastes and audiences. I think the last time we saw that was in Shang-Chi, where the Mandarin was absolutely transformed, but still actually maintained various elements that kind of stayed true to the character, but didn't go for the whole arguably quite sort of racist backstory origin look of the character. So honestly, I think they can do it. I think they have a track record of kind of changing these characters and making them work. So yeah, I'm still really excited to see what Captain America New World Order looks like, with the reports of Anthony Mackie, and we got the leader, and like all these different elements are coming together. I think this might be a little gem. Over in Sony Spider-Man news, Variety is reporting that their two new projects are getting pushed back a little bit, Kraven the Hunter and Madam Web. So Kraven the Hunter was originally scheduled to debut in January of next year. That's now being pushed all the way back to October of next year, which was going to be Madam Web's release date. And that's now being pushed back to January 2024. So both projects we're going to have to sit back and wait a little while for, but that's kind of okay because I don't think anyone is desperately clamoring for these. I mean, stop me if I'm wrong. Maybe you are. Maybe you can't wait to see Kraven or Madam Web. For me, it still feels like Sony are just kind of clutching at straws. I mean, the only two examples we have of them on their own recently is Morbius and Venom. It doesn't fill me with confidence. And I know that Aaron Taylor-Johnson playing Kraven, that sounds really good. But then again, you know, the casting in Venom and Morbius was pretty good as well. And good actors can't necessarily overcome a terrible, terrible film. So I don't know, if they're being left in to percolate for a little bit longer, that might be a good thing. You know, let these movies cook and bake in the oven, and hopefully we'll get something that's decent. But right now, I'm a dubious cat over here. I guess we'll find out in about a year and a half. Warner Brothers Discovery, in a surprising bit of news, are going back to Constantine with Keanu Reeves. The movie that originally came out in 2005 was not that spectacularly well received. I think it made its budget back, but generally it was kind of that was a film that happened. I don't think anyone was really desperately clamoring for another go around, but it seems like enough people think, you know what, we need to give Keanu Reeves another shot at this character. And I love Keanu Reeves. I mean, everyone does. He's kind of America's sweetheart. Who doesn't like Keanu Reeves? People with no love in their hearts, that's who. So John Wick is getting another go around in the trench coat, and I think it could be interesting. Because Keanu Reeves is an interesting actor. He's growing and evolving as a human being so much, and that's reflected in his performances. Unfortunately, that wasn't enough for the new Matrix movie to kind of get over the line of decency, in my opinion. But we're getting the original Constantine director back as well. This is Francis Lawrence. Is the name of the 2005 director. They are returning alongside Keanu Reeves, and yeah, it's an interesting, surprising little bit of news, and I'm interested to see where it goes. Maybe I'll be surprised too. Some encouraging news from The Hollywood Reporter about Batman the Capes Crusader. This is the animated series by Paul Dini, who started the Batman animated show in the early 90s and was kind of resurrecting it in a slightly new, modern form, which unfortunately was cancelled in the whole Warner Brothers Discovery shakeup. But apparently, there are various other outlets that are interested in taking on the project. Most notably, we've got Netflix, Amazon, and Apple. So 3 of the big streaming giants are currently in potential negotiations to take on this property. So fingers crossed, we're still going to get a resurrection of the classic old 90s Batman TV show. Superman comes out as gay and kisses his boyfriend on television is what all of the clickbait headlines are saying, and all of the people who don't like get woke, go broke type stuff are going to be complaining about, when really it's not Superman, it's his son John Kent. But that's not important because people have already clicked on the articles and the videos, and me saying Superman is gay is just kind of parodying that, because no, he's not. It really annoys me when comic book companies kind of put out this kind of thing just to drum up press, and like I'm not sure what the phrase is, but it's like gay baiting or something like that, where you're just using this very relevant, real thing that deserves attention as a way of just stoking interest in your project. I always find that a little bit gross. So I love the fact that there is actually gay and bisexual representation in media, in comics. I think it's awesome, especially because some people are saying, oh, it's too much. No, dude, we had like 60 years of nothing, unless they were like either perverts or comedy characters. And now we're actually getting fully rounded, fleshed out characters. It's wonderful to see, but it just irks me when you see so many headlines, Superman is gay. It's like, and then people are like, oh, Warner Brothers, oh, what are you doing? Oh, everything's gay now. It's like, no, it's not. You just did that to get attention. It's just like when Marvel killed off Spider-Man. Oh, Marvel's killing off Spider-Man. No, they're killing off Ultimate Spider-Man. They're not killing off Spider-Man. It's exactly the same thing. Just like when Warner Brothers got other headlines for Warner Brothers is making Batman black. It's like, no, they're making a black Batman. They're not making Batman black. It's really kind of gross and grubby the way that these things are done. But that's a shame because it takes away from something that's actually really good. So I'll just tell you what the details of this are. So Comic Book Resources says, John shares a celebratory kiss and semi-embrace with his boyfriend/journalist/freedom fighter, Jay Nakamura, in the closing moments of Superman, Son of Kal-El, number 15. So that's the distinction. It's not Superman, it's his son. But people who are desperate to get like clickbait and just stoke controversy, they just see Superman and gay and then they're off to the races. So that's why I'm not doing that, but I am commenting on it, and that's where we are. It's official, Spider-Man is America's #1 favorite superhero. This is kind of just a fun little story. A company called Wise Voter, who I guess specialize in big-time polling throughout the country, found out who America's favorite superhero is by polling pretty much everyone in every state, and it turns out that Spider-Man ranks #1. So in 25 of America's 50 states, Spider-Man is #1 on the survey. But not only that, he appeared in the top 5 in a whopping 48 states. And honestly, I'm kind of wondering, like, what 2 states didn't have Spider-Man in at least the top 5? That's actually kind of funny. Other interesting information is what other superheroes got the #1 spot. So Superman was #1 in 4 states, Wonder Woman was #1 in 2, Aquaman, interestingly, was #1 in 2 different states. Captain Marvel managed to claim the top spot in 2, and Wolverine got 2 different number 1 spots as well. Captain America was number 1 in Alaska, Iron Man was number 1 in New Mexico, and Black Panther was number 1 in Oregon. So there you go. If you're a fan of one of these particular superheroes, it might be time to change states. We have had a new reveal trailer for Street Fighter 6, and oh my giddy lord, this looks so freaking good. I grew up on Street Fighter in the arcades in the early 90s. It was always a little bit scary for me because the bigger boys were playing the arcades, and I was like, oh wow, that looks really, really cool. A little bit frightening though, so I'm gonna go off and find my mum. But now, oh, I love Street Fighter. Christmas 1994, Sega Mega Drive. We finally get Street Fighter and I became hooked. Ken, Ryu, Guile, those were my 3, and now just to see the franchise grow and evolve over time, it's an absolute joy. Every time there's a new iteration of Street Fighter, I want to see what they're doing with the new characters, or the old characters, how they're evolving them, changing the art style. A great way to track just how incredibly technology has moved on over the last 20 or 30 years is to look at Street Fighter and how the graphics have improved every single year. Now it just looks stunning. You see these characters in the trailer with Blanca and E Honda and the new arrivals, and all of these, they look phenomenal. So we have a full base roster list. I'm going to read it out to you. So coming in at number 1, of course, you got the man himself, Ryu. Then also there's Ken, Zangief, Dalsim, E Honda, Blanca, Guile, Chun-Li, and Cammy. Come on, those are all like the most core classic Street Fighter characters, but we're not done yet. We're also going to have Juri, Luke, DJ, Kimberly, Jamie, Manon, Marissa, Lily, and JP. A lot of those names I'm not that familiar with. Some of the more recent Street Fighters, I'm not too sure of the characters, the names. They don't have that ingrained nostalgia like the old ones do. But graphically, just looks stunning. And this is the first time now you're going to be able to play like an RPG style game within Street Fighter, where you can create your own fighter and run around this city and do training and learn moves and get into adventures. I really love that aspect of it. I think that is what's probably most enticing for me for this new game. So looking graphically beautiful. Cannot wait to get my hands on this. Another reason to double down on getting a PS5. I think maybe that potential Haslab money might be shuffled over to the gaming side of things. More on that later. But still, for Street Fighter 6, this looks so damn promising. The last hero of Nostalgaia, not nostalgia, as I read it. And then I watched the trailer and I was like, Nostalgaia, I see what you're doing there. This is a video game based off of nostalgia, and that is kind of fun in and of itself. So it's a sword and sorcery type hack and slash looking game, but it's a game that knows that it's a game, and it kind of plays into those tropes by the look of things, with the ways that characters interact, the menus, the systems. It's basically self-awareness, the game. And I kind of like the idea of that. So there's not too much to go on this trailer. It's going to be available for Steam and Xbox coming soon. But I just love something that's taking a kind of a quirky, different sort of approach to games and how we play them and how the stories are sort of told to us. So I like this kind of self-referential sort of treatment they're doing. So Nostalgaia, or however they pronounce it, it looks like it is nostalgia, but it could be nostalgia done in a clever way. And if the gameplay is fast, fluid, addictive with a fun loop, that might be a really fun one to get into. So I'm going to watch this game very closely because, yeah, you know what? You have my curiosity, and soon you might have my attention. Over in wrestling news, Roman Reigns, the WWE Undisputed Universal World Champion, or World Universal Champion. Ugh, they've really got to sort out that belt situation. That's next on your list, Paul. But he is going to be defending his, whatever you're going to call that championship, against Logan Paul. Logan Paul, of course, famous for YouTubing and sort of being controversial and courting controversy. Did I say controversy? He's controversial. But he's also really good at pro wrestling, it turns out. He came in to do a one-shot for WrestleMania, and whether you like the dude or you don't, he is charismatic, and he's incredibly athletic, in phenomenal shape, unsurprisingly. So the dude can go. and he was one of the best things at WrestleMania. So it makes perfect sense. If you're going to just have one of these throwaway blood money shows in Saudi Arabia, then put him up against Roman Reigns. Have that huge, big marquee match. Have fun with it. I've got to admit, I'm actually intrigued. Because if wrestling is just going to be this well-rehearsed spot fest that it would need to be, you might as well have it in there with someone who actually has the charismatic chops and the athleticism to pull it off. So I'm not going to talk about this for too long because I like to splice in footage, but with WWE, the second I splice in anything from them, the content vultures come and copyright it. So I'm going to wrap this up here. But still, Crown Jewel, Roman Reigns versus Logan Paul, yeah, I'm up for watching that. Over in toy news now, and of course the biggest news is the Haslab reveal. Not gonna linger on this because come on guys, if you're watching this video, you already know, don't you? So we're getting the Hell Charger, $350 for the car and Robbie Reyes. But of course they got the early bird thing going as well. If it's fully funded by September 23rd, you get the depowered Robbie as well. Now pretty much everyone is saying this looks really awesome, but that price is too much. And of course that price Hasbro are factoring in the cost of the tiers. They're kind of assuming that all the tiers will be met and they want to make a good profit. I think this is a grubby way of doing business. I do not like Haslabs, do not like Kickstarters because you are asking your most loyal audience to gamble on hope, you know? The good thing is though, and bear in mind here guys, you can always cancel your pre-order if you don't like the look of it. I don't know when the cutoff is. It has to obviously be before like the deadline of funding, but like read the small print because I'm probably gonna get it anyway just because like this is what I do. You know, but I mean, I don't want Robbie Reyes. I will sell it. I'm not going to be like a sneaky little hypocrite or nothing and say, oh, I don't want this, and then actually, get it. I have an old school retro kind of collection, so modern figures I don't really need. So I will sell it, but I'm sure I will get it just for the channel, be a part of the conversation, do the reviews, all that kind of stuff. But at least all of the tiers they have said are going to be figures, characters, not just flame effects or anything. So they've already teased Mephisto. We've got a silhouette of him, and it looks like if it's going to be demonic type characters, which they're kind of saying it is, that's going to be good. That's going to be real good, but it will have to be to make that price worthwhile. So I haven't put down my payment for it yet. I think I will do eventually, but yeah, like there's nothing stopping people from just doing the pre-orders. We can see what the tiers are, and then you can make your decision. I kind of like that idea. So yeah, don't just pay your money and then be like, well, Dave said I can get a refund. No, check. Do check everything. I don't want to be responsible for you paying $350 and then going, you told me I could get my money back. I'm pretty sure you can. Just read the small print. So that's what I'm going to do. And yeah, let's see how this funding process goes. Super 7 are going over to the Universal Monsters with 2 announcements. First of all, we've got the grim, creepy, black and white Nosferatu, who does look like a really good kind of Super 7-ish, slightly cartoony reinterpretation of the old classic vampire villain. I like the look of it. It looks goofy, fun, cool, and I'm normally not a fan of the Super 7 style, but I think with these old sort of monsters, it actually works really well. So I kind of dig that. I like the look of it. And more so, for their second one, we're getting the Metaluna Mutant. And this is beautiful. I think this is awesome. I love man in rubber suit, old 1950s B-movie type shtick. That just like, there's a little bit of fun there. It's real Plan 9 from Outer Space, Mystery Science Theater 3000. In fact, help me out, guys. There's a movie I saw when I was younger. I'm not going to say how much younger, because I can't remember. But it's kind of a homage to the old B-movies, and it's about a movie theater that gets invaded by aliens that try to brainwash the human race by showing them old clips of old B-movie sci-fi movies. Like, what is it? What is that movie? Because I want to look it up, so help me out here. It's a compilation of all these old sci-fi movie clips that they've kind of made a movie around. So yeah, if you know what that's called, comment below, let me know. In the meantime though, these 2 figures, they're going to retail for about $55 each, and they're going to be available summer next year. Time to go kind of retro with our action movie merchandise. Cobra. Anyone remember the movie Cobra with Sly Stallone in the 80s? It was a thing. He was a badass, tough-talking, gun-shooting, take-out-the-bad-guys, protect-the-lady kind of hero, and that's what the 1980s was all about. And this is now immortalized in the Cobra Sylvester Stallone Marion Cobretti figure. So this is a Hot Toys style kind of figure, and the Stallone likeness looks really, really good. I'm very, very impressed with that. So I got some more information. Let me read it out to you. The Marion Cobretti 1/6 scale figure stands 12 inches tall with about 28 points of articulation. The figure includes multiple interchangeable hands, a removable jacket, a holster, a pistol, a machine gun, grenades, removable sunglasses, a display stand, and more. It's priced at $290. It's expected to ship out in late summer 2023. So, of course, this kind of thing isn't my particular wheelhouse, but if you want like an old 80s movie hero type display, I mean, that's kind of a deep cut. Cobra isn't one of the most well-known movies in the world at all. I remember seeing it in the video store in like the early 90s and thinking, what is that? Never saw it. I'm about to give it a try. 3-0 are doing an Iron Spider figure, and this is kind of interesting because they do great mech type figures, and we've seen Iron Man or Iron Men from 3-0, which look exquisite. Also, more to the point, they're Transformers. Holy moly, they are stunning. But we haven't really seen 3-0 tackle human proportions that much, and so the Iron Spider, that's kind of a little bit of a middle ground that they can kind of wet their beak in. So of course you've got the classic MCU Spider-Man suit with the Waldos coming out the back. I think they could do a really, really great job with this. It's interesting to see what the articulation points are going to look like, because obviously with mech and machines it looks fine because it just looks like that's the way that the suits move, but with a more human kind of form, I want to know how they're going to tackle it. Time will tell. So when more information becomes available, your boy here is going to let you know. Hot Toys are re-releasing their Zack Snyder Justice League tactical suit Batman. So this came out before, but now we got a new version that has some different paint apps and has just been zhuzhed up a little bit. So you can look at the pictures and see, like, whether you like the Justice League movie or not, the design, I think the tactical suit Batman, that was pretty cool actually. It was a fun, interesting redesign. There's a lot of good stuff in the Zack Snyder cut, like the actual 4-hour one. It's, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying it's great, but there is some good stuff in there and good intentions and some cool designs. Hot Toys have captured this really well. Let me read you off a little bit more of the info. So this release features updated paint applications from the original. Batman includes multiple interchangeable hands, a swap-out lower jaw, interchangeable eyes, swap-out goggles, a parademon gun, batarangs, bat grenades, grappling guns, multiple grappling hooks, and a display stand! And Batman stands 2.9 inches tall with 30 points of articulation. Pre-orders will go live soon for the figure. It's scheduled for release between the end of 2023 and early 2024. So if you want to immortalize Zack Snyder's Justice League, this is a good way to do it. This is one I really love the look of. Storm Collectibles Hammer Giants from the Golden Axe game. They've done a whole series of Golden Axe figures, and these dudes, these look like so much fun. Storm, they really do a great job of taking some of the more old school kind of video game characters and bringing them into the 3D sort of realm. It works so well. Like Mortal Kombat, I don't think works so good with the human faces because you're making a human face into a toy. That's not a good transition, but taking an old 4-bit sprite or an 8-bit sprite and making that into a figure, that's an improvement in how it looks. And these guys look really great, and it's the newer technology where the bodies are seamless. So all the joints are underneath the sort of rubbery latex outside, so there's nothing to break up the figure. And yeah, they look really, really fun. Let me read you off some info. The Bad Brothers, also known as Hammering Giants, are the giants in Death Adder's army from Golden Axe that use hammers as weapons. They're easygoing and are usually seen smiling, but are dangerous opponents. The duo are the bosses from the old Firewood Kingdom. They feature a fully articulated unseen joints figure with 2 interchangeable head sculpts, 4 pairs of hands, and 1 hammer with an estimated release date of Q1 2023. So for all you old school Golden Axe fans, this is one you're going to want to have on your shelves. This next one my buddy Brad knows all about. Mattel are doing a Masters of the Universe 4-pack, and it's quite a hefty, chunky set, but man, it does look pretty. So again, there's a lot of information going into what is most appealing about these figures. I'm not a big Masters of the Universe fan, so again, I'm going to read off the cliff notes for these. So the points listed are Masters of the Universe He-Man 40th Anniversary 4-pack, 5.5-inch Masters of the Universe Origins collectible figures, with 16 points of articulation for timeless poses. This set includes He-Man action figures from the 80s Filmation series, the 90s New Adventures, the early 2000s Defender, and the most recent Netflix He-Man and the Masters of the Universe series, with premium TV packaging with Masters of the Universe Easter eggs for fanatics. These launched the 15th of September, so a couple of days ago, and they are priced at $150. So for you hardcore fans out there, this one you're going to want to pick up. Hiya Toys have revealed, just in time for Halloween, a bloody version of their Texas Chainsaw Massacre figure. So this guy is only 1/18th scale, which is good because then he can't hurt you. But he does look grim, gruesome and horrible. Hiya Toys, they haven't held back in really going full bore. This is the more modern version of Leatherface, and I have seen the modern movie. Wow, I forgot that I saw it though. That kind of speaks volumes. I didn't think it was terrible, but it wasn't great either. But this figure does look kind of fun. But again, too small for me, so I'm going to go pass on him. Don't know why I'm doing all this sort of thing, though. I've been filming for too long. I'm getting a bit weird. But yeah, if you want to get hold of this guy, he looks grim, gruesome, and horrible. And only retailing for $20. So that's also quite nice as well. Going to be available spring next year, so fire up your chainsaw and get ready to add him to your horror shelf. Prime One Studios are giving us an alien prowler statue from the Fireteam Elite video game. This just looks kind of beautiful. You know I don't really linger on statues too much, but I like to show off nice pretty things, and I like to talk Aliens, because Aliens is one of my favorite franchises. Still waiting for that Aliens TV show. Fingers crossed it's going to be good. In the meantime though, we can be tide ourselves over. We can be tidded over with this nice looking statue from the multiplayer Fireteam game. I still want a single player Fireteam game. Man, there's a lot of Aliens things I want. A back rub and a shiatsu would be quite nice as well. Maybe not with those claws, but still, check out the pictures. They look awesome. So this figure is going to be priced at $699.99. Let's just call it $700. And is expected to ship towards the end of next year or early 2024. So yeah, don't go clearing that space yet. You're going to be waiting a while. Now, you all know me. I wear my heart on my sleeve and I speak my mind, and that doesn't take very long. So I'm the first to admit I love a bit of cheesecake. And who's the cheesecakiest character in all of Street Fighter? It's Cammy. And we have got a badass looking Cammy statue coming your way in 3 different flavors. Let me tell you all about them. So Sideshow Collectibles has opened up pre-orders for 3 variants of the new Street Fighter Cammy Season Pass 1/4 scale statue. The statues are being produced by Premium Collectible Studios and is available in green, red, or white costume variants. The statue stands 17.5 inches tall on a diorama display base. Each version is available as a standard collector edition or a Sideshow exclusive edition. With the exclusive edition, you get an art print by artist Edwin Huang. The statues are priced at $605 each and are due for release summer 2023. So yeah, if you want to show off Cammy in all her glory on your tabletop, then Sideshow, they got you covered. And finally, to wrap up the merch section, we have a statue of Gecko from Dead by Daylight. Never played Dead by Daylight, don't like asymmetrical multiplayers, don't like multiplayers, I'm a solo kind of cat, but she does look wicked. She's one of the main antagonists apparently, looks very Evil Dead. I can just imagine her saying, "I'll swallow your soul! You will die!" Go watch Army of Darkness. Oh man, that's one of my favorite Halloween movies. It's not really Halloween themed, but it's just a fun time. So yeah, this statue looks pretty impressive. Got some nice light up features. Gotta love the light up features. The Hasbro team, they know those sell figures. Hopefully for them, they're gonna sell Haslabs. I'm sure they will. That thing's gonna get funded. But this one, don't even have to go through a funding campaign, you can just straight up buy it. So it's going to be priced at $380 and will be released round about September next year. So 12 months to save up for this gruesome looking Gecko character. And over in Cosplay Corner, I want to give a shout out to Yea Han. Not that she needs it, because she's probably one of the biggest cosplayers in the world, but what the heck, it gives me an excuse to put up some really awesome pictures. So yeah, she mainly specializes from what it would seem in anime and video game cosplay, but she's got some badass comic book ones in there as well, so you can go give her a follow on Instagram. I mean, she's kind of a big deal. She's appeared on various TV shows and judging panels for various different things. She's pretty much as mainstream as big-time cosplayers come, but you know, it's always nice to give a shout out to the little guy, which I also want to do. So if you know of any aspiring cosplayers, people who deserve a little bit of recognition, get a few more Instagram followers and whatnot, comment below and let me know. It'd be fun to shout out some of the lesser-known people. In the meantime, though, I get to focus on some of the bigger names, and also it gives me an excuse to put some really pretty pictures in the thumbnails. It's not just me. I actually don't attract that many clicks. Go figure. And finally, you've had the Spider-Verse, now it's time for the Batverse. At least according to Lyle Cruz over at Twitter, Lyle_style, very talented artist who made this great parody Batverse poster, which I just wanted to share with you guys. It's been doing the rounds on the internet, and I think it deserves a little bit of recognition because it's just super fun, taking the original designs from Spider-Verse and kind of slapping a fun Batman kind of theme over it. I think it works really well. I mean, I would love to see a slightly light-hearted take on a Batverse kind of movie. So maybe one day it might become reality. But in the meantime, we've got this fun little piece of art to enjoy. So if you're one of those Twitter type people, I'm not sure, I'm not a Twitter person, but if you go on the Twitterverse, then go look him up because he's a talented dude. And that does it for Good News for today. Gang, what did you think about the stories covered? Comment below, let me know. And if you like what you see here and you want to see more, then you know what you got to do. You got to join the 6-1 Clicks. Wow, raced through that one. Almost pulled my shoulder out the socket. But what are we talking about? Yes, join the 6-1 Clicks. But this is how my brain works. It's amazing I ever get anything done. Join the 6-1 Clicks by clicking the like, share, and subscribe buttons. And yeah, you know what? That's all you need to do. I won't even plug the Patreon. You can go about your business. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Get outside. Enjoy the weather. And until next time, keep displaying model behavior.